Hey guys, I'm back for the 10th day in a row, and I'm gonna make this painting here. Today I'm just not gonna mess with displacement. I'm just gonna work in Eevee to try to recreate this painting and just focus on making these sort of a painterly texture and getting out these the shapes that I see in this painting. So it's gonna be an impressionist, math-based generation of this famous painting by Vincent van Gogh, Starry Night. So I'm gonna close this down here, and then because I like my shader space to be right here, so I'm gonna drag that out. Change this view to shader editor. S is underlined. That's how I do it so quickly. Yeah, and that's on most menus. Like if I add a new material, to Shift A. Oh, and so you can see my shortcut keys. Let's check that box right there. And so now you can see this, and then my mouse clicks. Because I work in a lot of shortcuts, and when you're starting out, I recommend learning shortcuts or pull up a sheet of shortcuts, because that'll help you get an idea of what people use the most often. So it helps you figure out what to prioritize in your learning. Yeah, okay, so let's get started. I'm just going to use the UV texture map because we're only working with 2D anyway. So this is 0, 0, this is 1, 1. This color goes out from there. And that's important because I'm going to take advantage of those gradients right there. If we separate the X and the Y, right? X and then Y up. And so I'm going to so I'm going to subtract this. I'm going to first block out this shape up here. And so do that, subtract node, you'll notice we get a diagonal. If you subtract this gradient from, this gradient from this gradient. Z is of course black because remember there's only two dimensions. The up axis doesn't exist. So, yeah, and so if I use this color RGB, RGB curves in the color, Shift A color, RGB curves, then so I actually, I'm so used to doing this, I have to like think for a second, what I'm actually doing and using, because it's pretty quick to add it when you take the extra time to see, oh, that's underlined, so the next time I'll just put those letters in, and you slowly sort of start to learn that. So just kind of creating these spikes here, and then we'll sort of distort this a bit. Because notice we can't have any caves or some convex things on the side just from this curve alone. And we could try it from here. I don't think that's going to give us the result we want though. So I'm going to distort it actually from here. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. I actually haven't tried it like this before. This is the first time I'm trying this, so it's kind of, this specific thing with the curves and drawing with it. So, so that's why I'm just sort of working this out. And I think it's helpful to watch people work things out. But yeah, so this distortion is only happening on the x-axis, and if I were to do it in this area, it wouldn't give me the results I want. God damn, you can really make this. Yeah, let's find out, right? I mean, I think that's off to a pretty good start. I'm liking that. Yeah, I mean, you can, the world's made out of math, so, and this is all math. So should be able to make most things, I think. I'm going to make these mounts. I'm going to use that same distortion there. And maybe it'd be more natural to have another branch of distortion, but so I'm basically just masking things out right now. So the white value is, you'll see later how I pieced this together, and spoilers, it's using mixed RGB nodes. But yeah, welcome to the chat, Gwish. If I'm saying that right, I apologize. if I'm mispronouncing. And yeah, so enjoy. Yeah, I'm just gonna scale this out just because I'm not using displacement, because I'm doing all this in Eevee today, because just be kind of extra to do it in cycles if I'm only changing the size of the plane with the vector. You can see how I scale things maybe in my live stream on Etch-a-Sketch, or make an Etch-a-Sketch. So this goes behind here, so I'm gonna mask that on top of that, so I'll plan that later. So you know, main complaint about, you know, texture painting in Blender is that it doesn't have layers, but it does. It's just in the form of mix RGB nodes. So you see, yeah, so right here, I can show you how I do that. So right here, this is going to be the output, and it combines these two colors. So I have this on top. And then if I use less than, greater than, this math node, that creates a sharp value, because I want that to be, oh yeah, so this, want to be as close to 0 as possible, but not 0. That's how we get a pretty good mask for that. And, yeah, and so we can control, now in this mix node, because that's in the factor, it says how much mix is on each side, so this is kind of like where it cuts it out. Yeah, but we want that to be behind, right? So we just flip that. Yeah, it's pretty fun, right? And we can start sort of creating some of these textures. I don't think I'm gonna nail the houses. Like, I just don't think I have enough time or patience tonight. So, yeah, that's just gonna be maybe a wave texture or something. Yeah, there aren't a lot of houses, but you know, still, like, just go for the overall shapes, overall textures. If I use Voronoi, again, I guess I don't need to make it flat, but I think it'd be good to, yeah, make, I don't need that shader just yet. If I use this Voronoi, yeah, so if I use the distance, I'm just gonna make the stars here. And this is gonna be just the base color of that. So I think if I use, there's a math node called floor, and that should, if I use a multiply before that, I think I'll get a bunch of values in between. So now we have that separation of values. But it's, I want that stroke of texture, so I'm going to, let's see, mix shader, and linear light, so that distorts it in both directions from 0.5. So black is 0, white is 1, 0.5 is right in the middles. All color values are on that range, so when you put colors in, it shifts it in either direction. So that's why it's good for distortion. And it's distortion because I'm plugging into the vector right here, because that takes the position, right? So this UV is the position. We distort that with something. And I was talking so much, I've just forgotten what I was doing. So let's retrace the steps. So right now this is in a real position. I think, what am I doing? Oh yeah, so I want to distort, I want to make these tiny strokes, and so I'm going to increase the scale of this, stretch it out on this end, because I want this distortion to go in there. For reasons, order matters, a little hard to explain, doing my best. I want to include everybody on this, beginners and newbies alike. Yeah, so notice it's distorting from the center. Yeah, so, and then, and we can actually, I think, perhaps plug this into this position, see how that shakes things up. Yeah, so now we have it affecting those strokes, which is great. And but like, there's a paradox here because this is going to the vector that's going into there. Well, then let's just, we could try plugging that in there, and then, so we just have two different instances that happen to have the same value. We just have to make sure that they match later on. So if I sample this, wait, the floor value. Well, that's not working. So, so we were distorting this by this, and then let's undo some stuff because I was liking the result I was getting here. You can edit in the preferences. I don't think I have, but great tip for if you're really sloppy or have a knack for doing things you regret. And system undo steps. Okay, yeah, it's all the way up to 256. That's the max. Default is quite a bit lower, so might be helpful for you. Oh, so just take that out. So why is this? Oh yeah, so but we want that distortion. But yeah, but this is a paradox, so I don't come across these paradoxes a lot, so just kind of trying to piece this together. Like this red line means like that shouldn't be happening. I guess that's fine. Maybe, oh yeah, how about I just put a gradient texture in between there and then insert the vector here. I guess that's just better etiquette. I assume it makes a difference. So yeah, with this vector coordinates, if you look closely, the cells are kind of different here. So like there's a sharp line between them. So that painterly thing, it exists. But what I want to do is, you know, take the values and then like one side's blue and one side's gonna be yellow, and I'm gonna modify that but just for now I'm gonna see that. So this is gonna be the color range in the sky. So as we can see, we can flip that. Yeah. So but this isn't all plugged in perfectly just yet. So let's try to sort this out. So okay, I have an idea. So with this range, I've got this gradient texture idea. I want to create, we have a range here. We could probably do with more of that, and add more variation in the strokes. So I'm just gonna linear light, just like it. You can see what it does to color. It's a similar thing. So that's that was doing to do the distortion, where it's just pushing things away from 0.5. And if I sample this, it should yeah, we're getting some kind of variation in the values. So that's coming up there. Oh, beautiful. But we're not getting enough to work with. Yeah, let's make this look nicer. I think, yeah, this still isn't the best solution. I want this into let's plug this into the UV. Why not? Because otherwise the default's generated instead of, which is the first input right here, and that's just based on the boundings of this, which in this case would be the same as the UV. Because we're 0, 0, 1, 1, the same location. But yeah. Just playing with the values. It's not quite ready yet. I don't want this harsh line on the circle there. So to do that, to fix that, I'm going to Control Shift D. Makes a copy with that with this still connected, which is a nice quirk. And what I want to do is for this part, Control X dissolves this, so it's still connected, but that's all the same. So Shift Control or click, so just makes it a little more organized. And Control X dissolves things so that you don't lose connections when you delete something. And yeah, we're not getting distortion we want. Let's figure out what that is. Oh, because we have color in here instead of distance. That's my mistake, right? So these are totally different, right? And so now we want to distort this with this Voronoi. I think when I subtract, here's a little change. So the position, it's just the Voronoi, but with the position values sort of floored in there. So I can just subtract this, or maybe the other way around. Let's do a little check. Oh yes, okay, great. That's the texture I want. That's what I'm going for. So if I plug this in here, we're getting, you know, Tempera Paint version of Starry Night. Because I'm saying that because it's kind of thin, kind of same values, not a lot of mixing going on. I like painting, by the way, so it's kind of helpful for preparing for this, maybe. Yeah, but the values, let's look at the range right here. So let's turn this down. So we're getting like these really black values, so let's bring up the floor. Maybe we don't even need the floor now. Let's, because we're getting really nice values. So that's we don't want. So I'm trying to figure out why these parts are darker. So if I look at this distance, yeah, they are. And try switching these just to see the results. I think I can do a vector multiply in this. So kind of see how that's affecting that. Well, we're not sampling that yet, so let's focus on this. Okay, yeah, so all these circles are still just from this Voronoi right here. All right. Okay. Yeah, so I've got to take this value and this value. Maybe there's a way I can flatten this. This isn't something I've done before, so let's see if I can work through it. So it's going to be about taking this with position. If I can flatten those values. Because floor only takes one value. Ceiling, truncate. You just want to try to find something with both smooth maximum. Excuse me. Fraction, truncate. Maybe snap. Okay, maybe. I think. Let's try multiplying this just to decrease the range. Oh, yes. Okay. I think that's better. Let's try to, we want the whole gradient, so yeah, I think that'll be good. If we look at this. So now we can see how that's affecting it. If we adjust it now. Here. Oh, this isn't even plugged in. Multiply snap. So forget this. Forget this. Just put that in there. Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this. I think things are going to start shaping up from now on. It's like that. Yeah. Let's try a B-spline. Yeah. If you're in the chat, feel free to ask any questions. That can kind of keep me going. So, I mean, I'm gonna keep going until I get this one. I'm pretty excited about this, but yeah. Feel free. You know, if you're comfortable, or you know, if you don't have anything, don't say anything. But I'm here. I can talk. So color's a random value, and so it just gives it more randomness, kind of. I think let's give it some more immediate light right there. But yeah, because it's ease, so I'm going to sharpen that. I think we could increase the density of this, so just turn up this formally. Yeah, looking pretty good. Maybe we could use smooth F1 instead. Just not for this one though. Hold on a minute. The big one right here, smooth F1. Yeah. So they kind of melt into each other. Which maybe we would want only a little bit, if any. Turn that up. And this. yeah, I'm liking that. I guess these aren't that big in the image, except for the sun. So, actually, the scale is kind of about the density. You can't, like if I make it smaller, it'll just have more stars in it. So, I'm going to want to put a multiply here. So we can kind of tighten that up. First, now we need to adjust these. I think right now the range right here, it's getting clamped, or like blown out. So can't really control that value that much. Maybe if you do a B-spline, it'll I don't know, I like that. And then I think for the sake of time, I don't think I'm gonna bother with the moon. I mean, maybe I could just like use a gradient and set to sphere, and then just plug the texture coordinate in there. I can hide that. Getting closer and closer. Yep. It's all about patience and endurance, and yeah, the more you do, the better. The easier it gets. Yeah, and just take it one step at a time. Don't be worried about making mistakes. I think it's a nice thing about live streams is that I think it's an expectation that people are going to mess up, and I think it's a cool challenge to see what if people can actually make it through. Or if they can keep going. I might just make this like a bright point in the sky. So should only, let's see how it changes it. So this is nothing, and here's when I bring it back. So it's actually backwards, so the dark spots are light, so I'm actually gonna, may as well use a color ramp so I can control the values and flip it, right, because it has to be dark instead. And we'll change that to multiply because multiply makes things dark, and then the light things don't do as much. It's also good for mixing colors in and stuff. I guess this isn't the best place to do that because rather snap. Now that I realize, because we want it to get go through this floor operation that creates that paint stroke texture, the solid, the separation of solid colors. Yeah, so if I change this to, oh yeah, multiply, huh? And put in there, and choose it to multiply. There we have that. So that's just a scale. That's fun. I think I'll make this sharper, just like it is in the painting. And if I were to make this, I'd layer in another sphere and then another sphere. Should I do that? Should I? I might just want to add that at the end, have so multiply will add color. Yeah, let's make this a mix. I'll make a mask. So we have this, and I'm gonna Shift T to make another one, and then another one. So this outer sphere, I was gonna not do it, and then I talked myself into doing it. Yeah, hope I can finish this in not too much time. So if I make this smaller, and then multiply this by the other one. So copy that over there. And with these overlaid, if I preview this, Control Shift click. So now I'm actually seeing what's in this one. See how it affects it. So right now this one's slightly smaller. No, that doesn't make sense. This one's the same scale, but they're multiplying by each other, which makes each other darker. Okay, yeah. But if I do like kind of a partial right there, and if I hold down Shift, that makes it more gradual when I adjust the ranges, which is handy. And then I'm just going to use the vector add to change the position. So, oh yeah, and, facing that direction. And, so I do want to, if I want to make this dark, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to use mix shader. This controls the factors, so this is where it's mixed, and I want one side to show this and the other is going to be black, so then I get a moon. And right now there's just a point, and so I'm going to have to sharpen this right here. Yeah, can make that a little bigger. So yeah, I guess I can tap into the painterliness thing. So to add there, I want to make that. Just gonna use a mix right there. Again, so this is what this looks like, but we want, again, this is gonna be really dark. Sorry, I was a little tempted. I'm not going to add color here. This is going to be an alpha. So, what do? We turn this down. And I guess this kind of is still following the sphere, so let's forget about this and do what we were originally going to do. Just add the color at the end. So I'm going to plug that in over there. Oh yeah, into the factor. And then I'll choose the color for the moon. It's there. It's pretty faint, but it's there. So let's make this greater than. So it's just a sharp line. It's close to 0, but not 0. See? Again. And 0. I don't want it to be so solid, and maybe I can experiment with another. Let's try linear light. And the vector. It's not. So let's. There's no distortion there, so we need to add that to here as well as the color. So let's track down that gradient sphere. So the first one is right here, and we want to distort this texture right here. So we're just gonna add another linear light, put this texture in there. So now we can see the distortion's adding there. So this is actually, I think that's the center of it right there. If we actually look at this, see, I think it's adding that spot right there, right? So let's try to figure out a way to do that without it affecting the rest of the, let's just try add. And review, what does this color look like? Okay. And then the change, so that's pretty slight, it's not affecting the rest of it. Okay, or let's try mix, just replace the vector there, but that's going to replace the texture coordinates, so I think that really kind of messes with the coordinates there. Because we're not really shifting, we're just replacing. Alright, we'll do that, and we'll probably adjust the density of these strokes, and yeah. So now, I mean, these are following more of the form, but of course this is kind of a sharp line. Maybe we can use the same floor operation with that same texture on this branch of the moon. Let's see. Yeah, so this final two right there, I'm just going to bring that together so we can quickly add math node, floor, and yeah, just do the same thing. So how do I do this again over here? Let's review. Oh yeah, not floor, snap. Snap. Oh, snap. Sorry. Yeah, so we have this, and then we have the Voronoi texture right there. So those are the brush strokes. And then let's multiply, adjust them out. Wild. Except, let's undo that. Because we didn't mean to plug it into here. That was correct, and then made a little mistake. So this actually goes into here. And so let's, that, I'm liking that. Of course, maybe the moon we could make a little smaller. I didn't think this would be my favorite, or I guess I just didn't think about it, but didn't think I'd enjoy this one this much. So there you have the colors. Maybe we can use this value, just have a color ramp, just to have some variation in there. So I guess one side needs to stay black, and so there's a slight orangish in the paint. Try to emulate that. It looks almost, yeah, there's like more feathering than there is in the original, more spirally. That's cool. Now I'd love to make this kind of spiral. Not sure about the smaller one. Yeah, I mean, if I can make one, I guess I can just copy that over. So let's just gonna use another texture coordinate node, And again with so Control Shift when it cycles through when you Control Shift click. So another sphere, another vector mapping. And if I used like object, I think I'd have a nice even sphere, but I want it to be interpreted as a 2D sphere, so sometimes that can get a little messy with the gradient, the value of the gradient. Just a little fear of the unknown, so preventing me from doing it that way. And it's it's a very slight difference in your workflow. Yeah, so that spiral somewhere around there. And notice this changes the position with that, so I can do texture. And yeah, the reason why I'm doing a scale here is because notice this only adjusts both axes at the same time, whereas I want one instead. Let's reset that position so it's in the corner, and then so we kind of lost it for a second, so that's why I set it back to 0, 0. Or because the gradient comes from the 0, 0 coordinate. That's where it creates the sphere. Yeah, so let's scale that. And then oh, I have an idea. Okay, so I'm going to create 2 more of these, and then use I'm going to use a vector math node, and then shift this over. So all these are gonna screen. So that's kind of like the opposite of multiply. Where, like I said before, multiply makes everything darker, and screen makes everything lighter. It approaches white. Yeah, and we can't see them all because we're all in the same position, so I'll just shift this over just to create that curve up there. I'm going to use that. And then I can add that there, E to scale, bring that up. I'm going to make this like really big, because I'm just using the edge of it. And then I'm just going to cut it off the top. I think I want to get rid of part of this, so I'll mask that out with a gradient separate on the y-axis. So with the y-axis, I get this gradient. So if I have that there, and then so multiply, U for multiply, and turn that up, flip it. So I'm only going to be getting that top part. But I kind of want that arc right there. So I can bring that down. I'm going to change this to a math node, a special one called smooth maximum or minimum. Let's try minimum. Maybe that'll give me, yeah. So that's the mix that I want. You can actually adjust the smoothness of that now, which is really nice. So now, yeah, we're starting to get that. So that's exciting. And adjust that. This is fun. Okay. And then I want that rotation right there. That so these places is where I'm hoping I'll be able to create the swirl. Swirl, not squirrel. Yeah, so then I just screen, make that sure that's turned up all the way. Yeah, so I'm gonna do the same for this. First change the position so I can see it. Bring it down, and then adjust the scale. Maybe we could, let's just experiment with, so Shift S switches nodes. So it switches the math node, and then just that. Must be clamping it. We want smooth minimum. Yeah, it's not giving us the result we want, so let's just change that back to screen. So that's pretty good. Maybe let's try this one. See if it looks good. It does not. So, and yeah, so we want this to appear painterly just like everything else. Yeah, and as we weave through this, it's getting a little more complicated because I haven't taken the time to organize stuff. Yeah, let's use snap, and then remember, this thing uses snap values, so we know that's part of it. So let's actually dissolve that, bring it back here. There's the multiplying value, so that should only apply to that other thing. And then put that there. It looks like I'm gonna want more there, or increase the size. So we want that to ease into each other. I think what would really work well here is with another sphere, but I don't think I'm gonna take the time to do that. Yeah, since I just want to get this all done in one stream. It's a daily thing, right? You gotta keep moving. Got, you know, other work stuff. But we got life. So that's the biggest sphere, so that's kind of. Oh, so this is shifting all of it because it's all based on that vector right there. Which is kind of an error, but if I recorrected that, I'd have to adjust these over again, so let's leave that as is. But yeah, learn from it, right? So if we have, finally let's do something with this, right? Vector rotation. We have this output going, oh, not that node, VR, vector rotation, Shift A, vector rotation. We can plug this into here, actually, and then this will be a UV position, And so these are coordinates right here. Looks like heat map. So the red is, the green is y, just like up here, and there's x. So if we just shift that over, let's see. So I'll plug this in here. Whoa. Just do a gradient. And then control the range. So if I had something right here, and then I want to snap these values after, I believe. Yeah, so which one of these is the mask? This or this? This is the old one. Okay. Just remember the multiply node. I guess I created it for that. But yeah, so that'll create rotation from that angle. If I so let's forget this. Yeah, if I look at this and I have separate, you can kind of basically want to just, this will come in between this. So if I preview that, yeah, the Y, so it's vertical. Let's see if I can use that to make the swirls. Yeah, if this works, I'll be very happy. Oh God. So maybe it's kind of limited on what can it rotate around or whatever. Maybe I could adjust this. I mean, if we look at this, you can see maybe why this isn't working. So, yeah, this is very green, so that is actually taking a lot from that vector, the y vector. It's at least a good sign. Just make this, maybe we'll just make it a little bigger. It's okay to exaggerate a little. That's what Van Gogh would do, right? It's kind of like a horse, a very frail horse. Yeah, so I'm trying to understand, like, why, if you look at the vector, yeah, why are we getting some from over there? Let's try clamping this. Sweet. I mean, this clamps things too. This is just, clamp just cuts off the gradient, so anything lower than 0 doesn't get noticed. Try just, oh yeah, we can adjust these. Yeah. Just play around with that a bit. Oh, you know what it is like, it has to carry all the way across, because if you look at a regular gradient, it goes all the way across. So I think if I multiply this by the x, I can control that factor. Oh man. Yeah, cool. So, okay, yeah. And then let's give this some more value right there. Flip this. Yeah, so together these are making everything dark. Let's just sample this right here. So I'm not able to get this area. But yeah, we want a gradient because it's not gonna rotate around. Okay, we already have a mask here, so we don't need to create a mask. We just need to distort it. Something. So, hey, what's up? Hey, welcome back. Just making Starry Night here. Let's see. Watching the chat in case anybody has any questions. So, let's rotate this. Probably make a mistake here by, let's see. Want to allow for enough range to have that a gradual rotation, whatever. Let's just look at a wave texture. So that's looking like that. We want the full range. Drawing using nodes sounds like something crazy, but admirable. Yeah. Yeah, that's the Nodevember. You don't only do it if it was a challenge. This will not be a year-round thing. But yeah, it's funny. Usually when people do crazy things, it's just to get people's attention. And I mean, it's my first daily challenge, and I've gotten some good attention from it, So I guess the strategy of just doing crazy things until people notice you is kind of working, So that's good. Yeah. But thank you. Appreciate it. Let's try vector curve. Oh, man. So if we look at this texture right here, yeah. Do you guys like drawing? Like just, like normal people do? so I think I could just route it into here. I don't know if that's, bring this over. Let's just join that, just to keep it right. Yeah, that's cool. I really just got into drawing because, well, like in middle school or, you know, 10 years ago, 20, wait, 15, I don't know. But I just, I would just draw during class, really shouldn't have, but, like just doing little doodles, like bit by bit, I think helped me a lot with drawing, you know. Making a lot and then throwing out a lot, you know, not feeling like you have to put it out there sometimes helps. Or, yeah, let's see. So what was this again? The swirl. And then, yeah, so I want this to affect the vector rotation. And okay, so I need how am I going to combine this? Okay, yeah, so plug this vector into here. We'd have with that. So now it's combining the two distorted vectors. And if I plug this into here, and we can always just connect that and fix it if I've seriously messed things up. So we're getting that distortion right there. Oop, did what we wanted. If we want to decrease that vector, it's a vector, so let's keep it in vector math. So if I were to use a math node, it would only be editing one value, but in this case it's using two. Yeah, let's just try to make it smaller, decrease the distortion. So, but no, it's not really doing much. Oh wait, it's still set to multiply. But I'm multiplying all of it. So I'll actually plug it into the thing that's affecting. Oh wait, yeah, let's just multiply this angle. This is totally what I've done in the past. I just, you know, blanked a little. So now the brushstrokes will kind of feel like they're following that. I think this is a lot denser than his, yeah. I bet it took him less time to make this. I mean, his strokes look pretty fast. But anyway, so now this Voronoi pattern, just use that variation again. So, so this is the furthest output we have. I'm gonna mix and with the shader output. Yeah, I mean that'd be a good thing to cover, just making something look like a painting. That'd be pretty quick. Let's see, if I yeah, like there's a few things you could do to make something, just take the colors from something and like just say like the yellow's gonna be metallic, and you could separate it with the Voronoi, because this, if you separate the position on something, like let's say this is a texture image, it's all colorful like, and default of this is generated, so this is actually what's already plugged into it, so this won't change anything, but for some reason it recalculates. And then with the actually vector math node, subtract, what am I doing? I'm doing the thing I was trying to do earlier, but turned out you do it a different way, and that was with the math snap. So the math node, and then change it to snap, and then you get, but yeah, like Voronoi, color, wait, yeah, color, no, position. But you get like different values if you multiply. You know, and linear light, add some variation. Just use that randomness, which is the color. Wait. No. Oh, okay. No, this is it. This is all. It's so simple. Okay, so I put this in here, generated, and then, yeah, and that turns the noise, which would otherwise look like this. It's kind of stained glass, but then you could, the wave texture. I'm getting a little sidetracked, but to add paintings in a room or something cheap and useful. Yeah, it's cheap if you're staying in Blender. Just keep in mind, like, procedural textures add render time because it has to compile that. It's all mathematically generated, so images are faster because they're already baked in. They're already calculated, or they don't need to be calculated so much. And like, it's simple math to make these things, but it's yeah, it's cheap on time, potentially, if you're just trying to make something quick. Or you can make a whole Instagram where you just render out images that look like paintings that you just put through Blender, and you know, just have a bot posting things. Or anyway, so we were taking from this value, so I'm going to use that, and then if I use this Voronoi position, yeah, let's use snap, and then multiply that. Oh yeah, that's totally, yeah, totally. Wasn't thinking about that. Of course, if you do it a lot, you have to make it every individual one. So, yeah, it makes sense. You know, Blender's vector nodes, it's kind of not as artist friendly as Substance. Like, you have to do all the blurring before, the distorting before, because vectors come before. But like Summons, you can just add a distortion node at any point. It's like little things like that that are kind of like, oh, that's a little easier. But it's right here. I want to, it's the faded mix, so I want to actually create a mask for that. So use the greater than node. Let's see if it mixed the right thing. It's right here. Let's adjust this. Remember, as close to 0 as possible without being 0. And yeah, let's put it through some colors. Yeah, so we're going to use this. So if I sample this, just shift right click, drag a reroute node and put that in there. Turn that down. If I mix this, you know, you can see that it's not affecting other stuff so much. Except I'm plugging into the greater and than, which shouldn't be. So I'm gonna undo that. So it's taking that color, greater than, just plug the greater than in there, and then, yeah, so I think, let's check that this is this, yeah, so that's that texture, plug that in there, turn it down, turn it down, okay, and then, of course, this isn't ideal, like there's a gradient, there's something a little different I could be doing there, but it's okay. A little detail. So if I, yeah, and now let's finally use this color ramp again. Oop. Let's fix that. And then this actually like doesn't have much yellow, it's all white. Blue, the blue's about right. Probably don't need to be this focused on. Like allow more of a range. This is really gonna stick out in it, so I'm not really getting those swirls. That's too bad. Maybe I still get it though. Yeah, right now this is like, you know, I'd rather delete the swirls after all this effort, but let's see. Let's see if we, like, if I just plug that into there, you get like a smearing. Yeah, I might go with this. And forget about the floor, or the snap. So if I sample this, and then what was this one? Kind of liking that. Of course, like, we're not getting a spiral still. Maybe this was turned down a little closer to 0. Just kind of focusing on this swirl right there. I look at it. The thing about painting is like the reason people do it is because it's limiting. Like I mean these days, like you could just take a picture and know what something looks like. But to when you paint something, you know, it's about what things are important, what things do you choose to leave out. So like, I could do this another way that would be a lot better, or, you know, I can make it photoreal, like, you know, I could recreate it as a photoreal thing, but, you know, it would just give me a different result, it would say a different thing. This blue doesn't belong in here. Let's see if we can just do something to the edges here to make it more painterly. So if we go back to all this, let's just slap a Voronoi in there. Use the position. this side. So yeah, let's make this 2, and then we'll make this 0.5, so half of that. Could add more nodes so that I could adjust that, but don't need to that badly. Yeah. Oh, they did? Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. It's a popular painting. Yeah, good taste, right? Yeah. Shouldn't stop us from, you know, retrying or trying what somebody else did. You can always... Nobody can do things the way that you do them, you know, so... So it is. Good. Just gonna take out that swirl maybe. And just like that. It'd be cool to see the 3D version of this. So I might go looking for that after this tutorial. Now this is looking like a nice oil painting. Like it's these strokes are all like quick, you know. Not a lot of blending going on the canvas. So maybe I could even just try making this constant. God. Oh no. Cardinal. I could change that node to convert map range, and then change this to step. Yeah, steps linear. If I just increase these steps, then I get stuff. Oh, and, okay, yeah, so let's just make it linear. I don't think I'm getting much out of that. So, I think because the spheres are spheres and not linear things, it's kind of hard to manage there. Yeah, and the more I turn this up, the smoother it gets. But these are already like single values, so it's not too much from there. Yeah, it can be whatever you want. Totally. Okay, after this long tangent, I think I'm just gonna scrap this part. Maybe I'll come back to it next year. Maybe I'll separate it. No, maybe I won't delete it, just disconnect it. It's disconnected right now, so. And then reconnect this, I think. Let's make sure this doesn't shift too much. What did I use there? Might have been this, and then this shifted over. Okay, yeah, I think so. Yeah, because that's the vector. Yeah, so that makes sense. I don't recommend the guess and check method, but yeah, you can see I'm using that sometimes when, you know, there's nothing else left to do. Okay, what does this connect to? Oh, it just connects up to there, so just dissolve that with Control X. So if I take that, there's nothing. It's really just this one. Just delete these. Yeah, can build back from those easily. Those are going up there, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so now I'm just gonna, the final thing, so I'm just gonna block in this village right here. And I already created masks for that, right here. And there's gonna be color. Let's use a noise texture. Actually, let's use Vernaway and make it smooth. Increase the size. Make sure it's a UV coordinate. I just don't want to reach that far back, so just gonna use another one of these, and then. Just good etiquette just to simplify this by Control H. Just gets rid of all the inputs that don't have something being plugged into it. You liked more when the lines connected were curved? Yeah, it was a lot more readable. I mean, if you look at what Arendelle, another guy is participating in Nodevember, which does incredible stuff. When I look at his stuff, he's using curved nodes. And he's done like recent tutorials, so I'm curious if there's like a setting somewhere. I haven't looked into it, but yeah, I'm not sure why they changed that, because I haven't noticed like a change in like speed or anything. Like it's not like curves were interfering that much. But yeah, that was pretty nice. Whoa. Just want to combine it. That's subtract that. That's the part I'm going to focus on. So with this, let's see if what happens if I just plug that in there. Just curious. Okay, makes sense. Just distorting around it. Yeah, so instead, I'm going to separate this again. Classic, just isolate that x-axis so I can shift it horizontally. So again with the linear light, and then yeah, plug that in the second value. Just that distortion, don't care about the rest of this, because that'll be meshed out. Just take it to the end. And why is it rotating? Probably something to do with this part. Wait, let's try add this case. Yeah. It's not really following the strokes like each of these lead up to the top stroke right there. Yeah, I mean, maybe we could do something with that. If we what if I just plug this in the x-axis? Living color is what we're going to be using. And then if I just scale from here. Yes, it doesn't do anything when I scale there, but If it is direction, do something. Oh, it's simple. You need to go to Preferences, Themes, Node Editor, increase noodle curving. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Let's, okay, yeah. So, yeah. Preferences, Themes, Node. Yeah, Node Editor. And then noodle curving. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's curvy enough for me. Oh, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that, man. Or, yeah. So, maybe I can, if I multiply this one so it's not so squished. It's not going to be a perfect curve right here because it's just so dramatic in some places. But I think, you know, it's an impression of an impressionistic painting. I think it's impressionism. Like Van Gogh. Correct me if I'm wrong, but so it's fine. And so this is a brown and a green. Not that light. Let's turn that down. Pretty dark. I don't even know what this is. I think Van Gogh is Dutch. So something to do with Dutchland. Okay, and there's a little bit of black. So let's bring that in there. You're welcome. Okay, yeah, thank you. Good to know. Yeah, let's just experiment with that again. Cool. And yeah, I guess maybe yeah, I'm curious why they decided to change that. If that was like a compatibility thing for people with slower computers, or yeah. So I've got this, and it's in here. Yeah, so actually I'm going to want to put that in this section because that's the back's going to be a separate thing. Yeah, so let's just make that. Let's look at these cells, all right? Oh, we could make the clouds on the top. We could totally like break this into more sections. Oh. Yeah, so let's figure out where that edge exists. Oh, to bring that down, that's why. And then sucks that, so this is going to determine everything above it. Oh, that'll get messed out, so that doesn't matter again. So just make that like that, and then it's the final boss. Oh yeah. Earlier I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it, but originally I was gonna say I wasn't gonna do the moon. So yeah, I guess I kind of have to. Yeah. Yeah. Going with the video game metaphor, I guess I somehow cheated. I was somehow able to skip a level with the swirl here, just after frustration. So I think all the best games have a skip option, right? But yeah, I guess you can't skip the final boss. That's funny. Let's just play with some of these interpolations. That's nice. Kernel kind of can blow things out, but it makes a nice sharp curve sometimes. It's a wrong style. Maybe if I was making the that Japanese painting with the big wave, you know, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's try. He's kind of boring. He's playing. And this will change, you know, thing about B-spline is like when you add another node, it changes a lot with it. So yeah, it's easier to tell what HSV is doing up here. So like it's just going around the circle, adjusting the hue. And I'm gonna make the ground like a light green. Well, not light green. Let's just sample what I have here. It might be a little darker or lighter of what that is, because I wasn't specific about that. If I added another one of those. And the thing I love about Blender, which I wish other programs had, was that you could just, without selecting it, just, if your mouse is over it, Control C. Like, Control C, Control V. Didn't even click, right? I think the less clicks, the better. The better you can, more you can distribute work between both hands. So, but yeah, as a ambidextrous person, maybe I'm a little bit biased. I'm ambidextrous in that I draw with my left hand, but use my mouse with my right hand because that's how school teaches you. Yeah. At least I didn't go to like a Catholic school or in China. In this context, just that they force you to, from what I hear, use your right hand. Yeah. But which, you know, understandable if like culturally you associate your left hand with like wiping your butt. Right? But yeah, let's keep this clean. Sorry. There I'm creating a little sharp line, and I think we want. Let's try to make these strokes here. Just use another Voronoi, and we're gonna plug it into this part. So plug this in there. Wait, oh yeah, this is totally the wrong thing. So let's undo all that. It's funny how quickly you get used to the noodles. I miss those guys and girls. Yeah. So it's not gonna work if I put it back there and it doesn't really come back to being a vector. So let's try snap. So which part is making? Oh yeah, right here. So let's bring it before that, and then just to make sure that this mix works before I start deciding the position of and distortion of that. Snap. All right, and then I think to fix that up, I multiplied it to add more depth. Okay, yeah, let's mess with the size of this. It's looking pretty modern. Let's make this smooth. But yeah, that kind of messed with the distortion right there. And yeah, just turn it down. And with this I can just, yeah, vector mapping, texture so that it scales and then rotates. Let's take a look at what we're doing. I think there's a word for having like a fear of dots or being disgusted by them. I forget what that is though. So right here it should work around the z-axis. Maybe I need to use that. No. Okay, let's just, since it's not working for me, I'm just gonna use this vector rotate node. Let's just try the z-axis. Why Maybe I need to rotate it before. Yeah, okay, that's what I want. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for that type of thing. And yeah, stretch it out. And then in here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put that in like that. And then more darkness there. And then, yeah, there you go. Again, made to another live stream. Hey, welcome back. This is your second, right? There's enough of you guys at this point where I can't, it's not so hard to lose track, so. Yeah, so if I multiply this here, just kind of adjusting that line there. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. Same as last night, right? It's kind of bedtime. Yeah. So let's see. Let's try to. Sorry, you might have to watch the final boss of doing these houses later. It's probably going to be kind of disappointing. I might just like, you know, make some cubes or something and put them there. But I'll try to make it good. Oh yeah, so I was just trying to remember what I'm trying to do. So I want to distort that some more. Maybe I can use this. I really want a vertical distortion. Yeah. Yeah, so if I want this distortion to exist after the rotation, so right here, this is this vector rotate node. And then I can just, awesome, cool. Have a great night, get a good rest, take care of yourself, don't lose sleep on this garbage, yeah. So, if I bring this right here, and then, yeah, let's just, so that's just going to control the mount since it's vertical, so I'm going to use this noise texture to push it over. Oh, sorry, just a little surprised, I don't know, that's kind of cool. Yeah, and then, yeah, so that's more stroke-like. Yeah, and I feel like this could be sharper. I used a smooth Voronoi for this, but maybe I can backtrack on that. And just the thickness, I don't know. This curve is just kind of extreme, so let's try to adjust that again. Yeah, it's not easy for that to smooth that out. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think that's looking better. Just. At least it's interesting, right? Because the intention that here was to have it follow the curve, so it's kind of derivative of this distortion up here. let's see if there's, let's see what the Y looks like right here. Okay, yeah, I didn't distort it at all. So it all comes from the, no, but if I look at this, I subtract that, and then, so am I using this? Just trying to remember what I did, just trying to trace back. So this is the curve right here, and yeah, just remove that. Let's see how that looks. Okay. So we're still kind of getting that. I mean, let's see what happens if I use a wave texture that is going up vertically. Yeah, so that's very different. I can still just approximate it after all that. So if I press link, it just selects everything before it. So that's attached. I'm just gonna deselect that. See if this is anything else is reliant on that, so I don't mess things up. Nope. And then TW. Let's use a foreign texture, and then so that there's like varied width, because I can adjust the randomness. And if I the texture coordinate, and then I take out the Y value. Yeah, the X. Yeah, so no Y value, so it's just getting the X coordinates right here. So everything's has the same Y value, which is 0 in this case, because I separated that. And then turn that up, get in that, and then linear light. Let's try this again. That's cool, I think. Let's try add. So I used this noise texture in the coordinates over here. Forgot that I separated this and added it twice. If you look back, you'll see why. Because this noise texture should correspond to that distortion, so then the curve should be better at following that. Yeah, of course. And then, actually, yeah, so I want to control the shapes in this. Actually, let's just take out the brown and make that the outline. Decrease the randomness, make them a little more constant. And I'm gonna copy this and then make another color ramp. Shift D, Control V. Yeah. So it's nice that you can copy something and you can duplicate and move it, and so you don't lose your thing you copy. Like, that's another thing I wish like more programs had. Yeah. And then yeah, so if I use this curve, I can, oh wait a second, then I combine it. There. Reroute node. Shift right, control click. And I've already masked this out, but I want, let's see, I'm going to use the mix shader to combine these, and then, but I need a mask to plug into the factor. So, by mask, that's the, just going to use, I wanted there to be a fade, so I'm not just going to use the less than or greater than, like I did earlier in the video. Yeah, drag and drop colors. Oh, like, can I do this? Oh, huh. I didn't even know that. I've been using, wait, yeah, I've been using Blender for, well, since 2.79, so that's, I didn't even know that was there, so thank you for that. Yeah, make that a little darker. Hi, you're new here. How are you? I'm good. Yeah, because I don't think I've had this many people on comment on my live stream before, and it's kind of hard to see how many people are on it, and maybe that kind of helps, you know, so I don't get too in over my head or like from in front of all these people. Actually, like in the past, like, you know, I've had like, you know, pretty bad stage fright and stuff, but I think when you're doing something you're comfortable with doing, that you've been doing for a while, that's yeah, purely accidental. So you guys didn't like search Nodevember or something and then found it, or how did you like accidentally find it? I'm always curious, because I'm trying to grow, you know. So, so there's that, and then I kind of want to mask these out, so I'm going to combine these masks. I mean, I guess I could, if I did it in a different order, I wouldn't have to combine the masks, but I just want to quickly figure out how to put these together. So, can use this greater than value, and then, yeah, I've, you know, I've been putting out tutorials, and like, you know, I'm really into modeling, 3D modeling, not for photography, I wish, but, you know, and, it's, what am I saying? Yeah, so I'm putting out tutorials for that kind of stuff, and it's kind of slow to edit things, and I'm kind of gotten this live stream thing because it, you know, it takes a bit less time to put together. So here's a mask. This should have a greater than at some point connected to it, right? It does not, so that's why I made these math nodes. Gonna use the greater than. Bring that as close to 0 as possible to mask it out. 0, 0, 1. I was going to combine that with one of these. Yeah, there's the mask. Excuse me. So, I'll use screen. Okay, cool. Yeah, you search Nodevember. That's a good sign. Yeah, whatever's trending. Are there a lot of people doing live streams of Node stuff? I think a lot of people, they want to make the most complicated thing, and to do that, you know, when you're under that kind of pressure, you want to take extra time to do stuff, and like the stuff that Arendale's doing, you know, and always Simon Thumbs is pretty cool. And yeah, and his videos are really thorough, and I've been learning from that on like, you know, not putting together notes, but a lot of this stuff I just learned from like playing around with stuff. I remember like, you know, when I was starting out in 2.79, and yeah, I was just following like Blender Guru's tutorial on how to make snow, and I don't know how much time I spent on that, but I just like blindly follow some of those shader tutorials, and then I'd start, things would piece together. And I think there was a live stream with CG Cookie a year ago with Simon Toms, and that I learned a lot from that live stream. Yeah. Okay. So I have this factor, and I have this linear line. Okay. This might be in the wrong order, so then I'll just flip these. It's calculating. Okay. So we're starting to get something. I wish this border wouldn't be there, and that's because I masked this in a different place than I could, right? So let's just trace this back. So I have this, and I use this, eventually wanted this snap. Let's hope that great. Oh yeah, I can totally use that, and then bring that in here. But yeah, so are you guys enjoying this? It's kind of, I'm curious, like, are you watching the whole thing, or are you skimming through, or I don't know. It doesn't matter. Kind of reminds me, it's like grated cheese. But that's what paint feels like, right? Yeah. And I promised Miles on the chat that I'd do the houses, so I guess I'm gonna do that too. I'm not gonna get to sleep tonight, am I? It's only 7:30 where I'm at, so. Yeah, that's good. I could put like a little bit of white in here. Oh, well, not there, but I guess there's a little bit of that. You like it? It's cool. Cool. Like, yeah, that's nice. You know, people spending like an hour watching me do something that's like, wow, eh. It's very flattering. Thank you. And yeah, this does. Yeah, that's way better. Oh, immediately improved. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And if you missed it earlier, I was trying to do this swirl earlier. You can see what I was trying to do with that. But yeah, I eventually had to give up. You know, which happens. But yeah, I'm gonna try these houses. I think the closest thing I can do that is make a rectangle. So, and then, you know, make a bunch of rectangles and copy them, and I can do that. So, UV, separate, combine, so we can just isolate those axes, and then we're actually going to make it mirrored. So do that, use absolute, which makes the negative things positive and the positive things stay positive. So you get that. That's why that mirror effect happens. And either I have to shift this before or after, but yeah, so here are the vector coordinates, and you can see how that's flipped. And then we want, yeah, positive 0.5 because we're shifting that. No, where was it at before? Negative 0.5. And then And then right here, actually instead of combining, we're going to use a math node, and that's going to be smooth minimum or smooth maximum. Yeah. And this like bevels the edges, which is really nice. But we probably won't be using for this. And then color burn. So color burn. Oh yeah, but we'll do this afterwards now that we have this gradient. And we have these sharp edges, which you can't really get with any of, if I were to combine this with any of the color mix options. So the cool thing about color burn is it controls the size, and then I can use color dodge to smooth it out. But this, to maximize the range, should be set to black, I think. Yeah. And then this should be set to white. And this will adjust how smoothed out it is. So if you ever need to make a cube, that's how you make it. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about you guys. So like, you know, what kind of stuff you're working on, like if Blender's kind of an interest for you, or if it's a hobby, or profession, or you know, just want to keep the chat fresh. Or, I don't know. Can talk about nodes. I think if I make one house, I can repeat it a bunch of times. Let's try that. So just do one house well, and maybe then I'll add like a spike for a church right there. If I so we have this here. Excuse me. And then so if that's a 0, and then I just have the gradient. So now I have the gradient to control and work with. And yeah, so I can make the border there. And yeah, as close to 1 as possible, but not 1, so 0.999. And yeah, so that'll be the mask there. And then so I think the average house is kind of mostly white, but actually kind of beige. I don't think I can sample this because it's outside of the thing, so I just kind of eyeball in. I think, you know, sometimes sampling, it makes you less lazy, and it's more painterly to do that. There's this one app that started called Heavy Paint, which is by this this artist who worked on like Spider-Verse and like some Tron cartoon, and he does a lot of stuff that's like really stylized, but he developed this app that's like very painterly and interesting to see. I mean, it doesn't have a sampling tool. It is unlimited. It's like, you know, it's made to look like paint. It's more limited than like Photoshop or something, which kind of forces you to be creative with different things. And so it's kind of cool. Oh, you found the color drag and drop accidentally? It's funny, like I never even thought to try that, you know? Yeah, for now you can't do chairs by yourself, yeah. Just take one step at a time. It's all about just steps and knowing what that does, and you kind of just learn how to do it the more you use it. Nodevember is all about overusing nodes, like in professional thing, you should really just understand what PBR does. And I'm going to do more stuff on texture painting in Blender, because like nobody covers that online, because everybody uses Substance Painter. And I think people argue like painting in Blender is like painting in Microsoft Paint, very limited, but I think there's you know, you don't have layers, but you have mixed shaders, you know, so you just plug in textures there and organize that. If you've seen my video on skin texturing, you can see kind of how I use things for that. That's cool. I think, yeah, I mean, I wish Blender had more presets, so you could just make more stuff. I'm just going to use noise texture, then increase the detail, so maybe that'll make more of like a brush strokey kind of texture. Yeah, that'll be nice. And then, yeah, so if we plug this into here, I think I actually want it to be like bleeding around the like from the edges. So actually, if I use this color ramp on this side and add it, yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, that's nice. And then I guess I'll probably take this from here too. On the threshold, oop. Should be that. And then let's see, if I just copy this node group, so, and let's, yeah, Control J, just keep it a little more organized. I haven't been consistent about making frames on stuff, but ideally you kind of want to be, but it's good to just focus on the concepts. Cool. So, square one. So, and then Control Shift D copies it but keeps it connected. That's a nice little tip. And I'm going to combine these with Mix Shader with the factor right there. Let's see how that looks. No, terrible. Let's bring that in. Yeah, so now we have that nice paint stroke. And yeah, okay, and now I'm glad I'm doing this part because, yeah, cool. Turned out this distortion here. I don't even know how long I've been doing this. What? Let's see. 2 hours? Jeez. Didn't feel like 2 hours. This is the longest stream I've done. Usually I do it before I start work. So, and that kind of gives me time limit, which forces me to kind of go fast. So, the thing is, like, if I make this too long, are people gonna watch this, you know? I think they're at least gonna want to skip through. I mean, if, you know, Van Gogh, you know. Yeah, so if I look in this, they're in the same position, so you're not gonna see much there. I'm gonna change this to a mapping node, so I can just shift this over and scale it. And then texture, right? So that changes the order so that it moves it, positions it, and then scales it. Now it's gotta be this mask, right? And then I'm getting this. Down here, I'm just getting black. That's why, yeah, so what's going on? -0.5. When I replaced it, lost those coordinates, I think. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see. So when I look at this, it's good. And when I look at this, dark. Oh, not. I'm going to put this. No. Shift. Okay. Shift S. NV. Add. -0.5. No. So something I'm doing weird. And then let's just scale it in. Yeah. And now if I look at it, that's better. So let's just shift it over. And there isn't really a whole lot of perspective on these houses, so maybe I don't need to. Maybe I could even make this a little thinner. Shift that in there. And then the roof is a must, and they're all on a slant in that direction, which is kind of nice. I mean, there's exceptions, but let's just try putting that in there. So I'm gonna copy this yet again, and this is actually square too. It's just that much of a copy. And use another mix node, and this time I'm going to use this one. That's the only thing that's the main thing that's different. And color in there. And yeah, and this might be masking out everything, but I need to check on that. I'll find out when I bring this up. Yeah, so it's masking out everything else, so that just means I need to flip these. Or change the greater than to a less than math operation. Yeah, there. And so it's just sitting on top of it. Oh, I just noticed you spelled color with U, so you're don't need to other you or ask you where you're from, but oh no. I just didn't grow up being taught to write it like that, so it's kind of it's interesting. Like that streaming is like a global thing, yeah. Oh, autocorrect? Oh, okay. Do you have your computer or phone set to like British English or Irish English? I think I had my phone set to Irish English for like a few years actually. Believe it or not. Yeah, and to get a little slant on this, I think I can use the Y gradient right here. So if I just add these add to shifts things. Atlantic Canada. Huh. Interesting. This is interesting right here. Atlantic Canada. I don't know that I've been. If I say something, I might risk showing how little I know about geography, which, you know, stereotypical American. Okay, so what's happening here is this is from the absolute value right there. And so I guess I can't because it's already mirrored. It's mirroring, it's shifting it with the mirror on, and so it's not giving me the result that I want. And yeah, so I'll have to do it back here. Maybe I can just reroute node, separate, combine. Then so I'm just doing this all back here instead. Add, let's see if this works. It's kind of petty, just a little thing, but you know, I think that kind of adds a lot to the character. Oh, and we can see. So just changing the angle. Let's try to put the other direction. So let's try to subtract. Yeah, so that might be better. I guess we could have just rotated. No, we want to shear it, not rotate it. you know, if you go into edit mode and then shear, you get that as opposed to rotate. That's a little tip for you. What am I doing? I gotta get this done. Why am I talking? Okay. Let's see. Okay, so I've kind of messed this part up, it seems. Oh, let's Control Z. Start linear light. Oh, it's down there. Look, that's why I was in the corner. I was so a little confused. And then, oh, and then, but we're adding it, so why are we adding it? Let's combine it, and then put it through this, so we can position it. Yeah, okay, that's better. And then, okay, yeah, good. So that's the wrong direction. Let's try subtract. I think it's B. Yeah, B is underlined. That's another thing that, I mean, yeah, some programs have that. I think even Max has the underlined letter thing, which is nice. And let's get these streaky lines there. So do that. I'm going to just take the Y, no, the X, and the wave texture, and, well, actually, wave texture post adjustment, and I guess I could just rotated that, but yeah, maybe that I saved a node there, and then CM screen. I'm gonna, so remember, screen lightens things. It's basically the opposite of multiply. You'd think divide would be the opposite of multiply, but screen is in that it makes things closer to white. And then actually I'll use a math node, so Shift S to flip that. Wait, in case I did something weird, undo. NA. So is there an extra node here? Okay, yeah, everything's fine. And then yeah, so I'm gonna combine this with the grain of this. I think it's just straight up this. Let's sample it. Yeah. And then, so that's value number 2. Now if I look at this, let's see how it looks. Yeah, so that's, yeah, it's kind of doing what I want to do. I think I'm going to adjust the range here, so the black's going to become lighter, and then I'm going to do the same thing to this part. Okay, I don't badly need to like smooth edges and have control over that. We don't need a sharp gradient, so let's try this again, screen. Let's try add. So right now let's try the waves adding to the, You'll be back in a minute? Okay, cool. Hey, DSO Dragus, welcome back. Let's see. Huh. Yeah, so let's try multiply. Okay, actually, let's look at this. We want it to be lightest on the outside. And then let's just make it a B-spline, why not? And then just to give it a smoother gradient. And then add. And then yeah, and then let's adjust these waves. Okay, and then so much work for just those brush strokes. Well, yeah, I'll just multiply for the top of the roof, so I'm just gonna multiply it on here. Just the size, scale. I got some distortion. Oh. Let's just see linear light and yeah, color mix shader and there. That's a sharp noodle. Yeah, so there's the house. And now that we have all that, I'm going to repeat it a bunch, so may as well just make it a group node, right? So I'm going to have one input, which is going to be the position. Don't need to adjust anything else that I can think of. And yeah, so if I group this, it's all in here. And if I, so I somehow ended up with 3 vector inputs. Let's see why that is. Oh yeah, it's because I forgot to, they're all going to the same place, so let's just fix that. It's kind of dumb, you just have to shift right click to have that reroute node, and if that's selected in it, it'll interpret that as one input. So, and then, oh yeah, let's remove that. Bring that down. Hi, quite challenging. Yes, I am quite challenged, at least. Yes, quite the challenge. But I'm almost at the end. If you scan through this, I've been working on this house for a little while, quite a while. How long would it take me to draw this? Probably 8 seconds. Maybe that's a little slow. I don't know. Yeah. So we have the brush strokes there. Oh yeah. So let's group this. Control G. Wait, but we didn't want. Yeah, we actually don't want that included in there. Control G. Why am I failing? Okay. Okay. I had it right the second time. Well, the first time I did it wrong. Then I did it right the second time. Then I did it wrong again. Yeah. Yeah, and then now if we look in this, we can start adding the houses. Oh yeah, so it all comes down to this. This is the final painting. I'm just gonna place some houses in here. So I just bring this up here. And let's name this house. Something descriptive, right? And put that in there. It's less than, greater than, so we control that. So we can see the house right there. I guess we just want that. If we want the whole thing. Well, we might not get that. It's okay. Just in this time, I think I'm getting a little tired of sitting, you know? So, might start new later. But I think, like, every individual piece of this, I'd be like, yeah, that's, like, inspired by Starry Night. And then you put it together. And you're like, oh, no. Thanks, Dragus. I appreciate the support. If I scale it, I guess I want to scale before, and then let's try that. Or I guess because 0 is, yeah, it's always gonna be doing that. It's the position that I created it in that node. Yeah, and this needs a window and an outer shell. If I go back to this, can I, is that? If I look at these shapes, I don't think they overlap. Like the final color, I think it's totally dark. Okay, I guess I'll have to combine these with another greater than. No. Increase the size. And then bring that in. Remember, keep that all the way down and then increase the fade. Yeah. You're back. Okay. Thanks. Good to know. Welcome back. Let's increase the fade, give more to work with. Just give it more of a mask. Yeah, this is a little messy. I might not be able to get that black outline. Let's see. So if I then here, is black, so if it's multiplied, then all the black will combine there. So we have this, and then over here we have this. And to increase that range, smooth it out more. Why is it cutting it off? So that gradient. Am I assuming you're a human? Oh, oh, hello, human. Oh yeah, funny. Reset size. so this is the mask. Yeah, so I'm just gonna multiply this again. Did we figure out why this was limited? Oh yeah, this is because I scaled it. I think I'm probably messing this up. But let's see the outcome. So we have this, and then if I use the mask, yeah, we have the house. The roof's a bit wide. Let's fix that. And then let's repeat the houses and then just call it. So we have a house, Whippy, and then we need another output for that mask. So otherwise we won't be able to mix it anywhere. So go to node, color, output. I'm not sure how to make that a non-color value. It just needs to be black and white. Sorry if that was weird. Nah, it's no problem. Everybody is, weird things happen all the time. Yeah, was that weird? Nah. Okay, so get a mask. Yeah. Only weird thing in a chat like this is if we're not being respectful. Like it's pretty weird to be with a bunch of people and not be respectful. I don't think that's going on. So yeah, that's good. And yeah, so we'll go with this. Let's rename this mask so just we can tell the difference. Mask, and as you can see, that's the opposite of what we want. And so I'm just gonna flip these. And yeah, we can do that a few times and then just copy it around. There's a way of scattering things that I've shown in a previous thing, but because this isn't in perspective and there are only a few, so I mean there aren't too many houses, so I think I can make a few and then have a similar effect. So this goes under here. If I position it, yeah, the roof's a little bit high. It's okay. It's realism, right? Just a very poorly constructed house. It's very real. In the words of Vash, love and peace. That's nice. Yeah. Good stuff. Maybe I can make these different colors if I could just go into the node group. Yeah, so let's just create some variation here. Yeah, so there I have some houses, and right there. Oh, and then I can use this to like shift the hues around to create some color variation. So it's taking a while to compile because yeah, a lot of nodes, pretty inefficient, pretty dumb way to do things. But yeah, again, that's Nodevember. It's cool, right? Nodes are cool, but you're not going to make a short film or a video game or something with nodes. I mean, like, yeah, there's some stuff you can do with it that maybe you can't do with other things, like really crazy transformations and stuff, but a lot of it's just to be a challenge, you know. A challenge I have about 20 days left of, so. Yeah, this totally isn't the right color palette. I think maybe I should try bringing the saturation down. Making just keeping it blue. I think if I like these hues are too different, I think they should be in the same neighborhood. To fix that, yeah, let's just make them more all bluish. And then I think it's this one that, oh no, it's a sign. Okay, this one's just gonna look crazy, so I'll use like this one as reference. But yeah, okay, so that's outside the node that we need to fix. So this last one. Yeah, only for Nodevember would I make spend 3 hours or 2.5 putting together something that looks like this. I think I'm gonna call it for tonight. I appreciate all you guys watching. There you have it. I've got buildings in there. I wasn't able to get this spire in there, and you know, the hills look like grated cheese, and but I'm happy with my moon and the sky, and that like all the basic shapes and elements are there, excluding like this, which I attempted. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching and learned some things, and I hope I'm explaining everything thoroughly. I always try to make sure to do that. And you know, wherever you are, just have a good night, have a good day, and I appreciate it. And thanks to you, So Dragus. You have a good night. Everybody take care. So that includes everybody on this chat. Yeah, Fengo would be proud. Yeah, I think so. Okay, that's great. Okay, so bye to So Dragus, bye Digital Design, bye the Humongous Blaze, and Miles is left, and Gyoshi, if you're still watching. If anybody that isn't involved in the chat that's still watching, well, okay, it's a night for me. Yeah. Yeah, have a good day or night. Yeah, bye. So, see ya.